Hi Mini Makers, welcome to Mini Makers 3D. Today I have something exciting for you guys. We're going to be making a telescoping mini lightsaber so you can be a Jedi yourself. To start off today, we're going to grab a cone and drop it off on the work plane. And we are going to change the size of it, not by using these little squares right here, but right on the side. So we're going to start off with the base radius. And with the base radius, we're going to change that to 8. And the top radius, we're going to change it to 7. That way it's going slightly inwards so the pieces can go ahead and get stuck within each other. And final thing we're going to do is change the height to 40. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do right now is either to duplicate or copy this piece. So you can duplicate using copy or Control D, or copy using Control C and then paste it. I prefer Control D. We'll make a copy right over here. And we're going to turn this one into a hole. So it's going to go inside of the piece that we just made. And we're going to want it to be slightly smaller. So we're going to want the base radius to be 7 and the top radius to be 6. And I'm going to kind of stack these two next to each other so that way I remember that they're going to be grouped together eventually. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and once again, we're going to duplicate the piece that we just made. We're going to bring it down. I'm going to change this one to a solid. And I'm going to want the base for this one to be 6.5. And I'm making it slightly smaller so it can eventually get stuck inside of the hole that we just made over here on this shape. And you'll see what that looks like once we start grouping everything together. So the base for this new shape, or this new piece, is 6.5, and the top radius is going to be 5.5. And then once again, you guessed it, we're going to go ahead and duplicate or make a copy. I'm going to duplicate that, bring it to the side, and we have another hole. The hole for this one is going to have a base radius of 5.5 and a top radius of 4.5. So if you haven't noticed yet, there's about a millimeter difference between the base radius and the top radius, and that's just so the next piece that we make, again, gets stuck as it's going up for our telescope design. And we're going to make one more piece. So we're going to duplicate or copy. We're going to bring it over. And for this third piece, we're going to change the base to 5. And just like the other ones, 1 millimeter less. So it's going to have a top radius of 4. And, oops, we're going to go ahead and do that one more time. We're going to turn this to a hole. And we are going to have a base radius of 4 and a top radius of 3. And we're going to make the inside piece. So let's go ahead and we're going to duplicate this one more time. We're going to bring it off to the side to not get confused, make it into a solid. And then with this piece right here, we're actually going to change the base, the top, and the height. So for the base, I'm going to have you guys put 3.5 because we want it to get stuck in between the base and the top of the smallest hole that we made. And then our top radius over here is going to be 2.5. And so I did say we're going to change the height, and that's because we kind of want our tip to be rounded off instead of being flat. And so we're going to change this to 38 because we're going to add a little tip on it. So on the side over here, you're going to click on this half sphere. You're going to drag it onto the work plane. It's pretty big right now, so don't worry, we're going to size that down. So we're going to go ahead and click on one of these white corners, and we're going to change both sides to 5 and 5. And it's still a little weird shape right now, as you see, so we're going to go ahead and change the height to 2. And then we're going to grab this part right here, and we're actually going to bring it all the way up. We're going to change the height, and we're going to bring it up to 38. So it's sitting in line with the top of this piece right here. And now we're going to very carefully align these two. So we will align them like here in the middle and right there. And then we should be able to, if we look closely, they are in line with each other. There should be no gaps. And so when we group it together, it is now one solid piece. Okay, now this is where we're going to bring the telescoping piece all together. So we're going to start, you can start off with the smaller ones, the middle one, or the big piece. So we're going to select the two that we had right over here. You can do it like this, or you can use the lasso tool. And we're going to go ahead and carefully align them, making sure that we only align the two that are next to each other. And we're going to line them in the middle on both sides. And you can actually double check, because if you change your camera and hover over, it should be perfectly centered just like that. We'll go ahead and use our lasso tool to select both of them and group them. And what you will get is a hole that goes all the way through. And it's kind of hard to see, but it is changing in size, so the bottom is larger than the top. And then we're going to do that again with the middle pieces. And we're going to go ahead and align them in the middle on both sides so it's even. And then we can go ahead, select them one more time, group them together. And one last time right over here. We're going to align them, and we have to make sure we group them because we want to make sure the holes are there. And voila. So now we're going to go ahead and put this all together, and we'll get our telescope. So we're going to select the 4 objects that we have right now. We're going to use the line tool one last time for this part and group them in the middle like we have. And if you look closely, let me go ahead and fix that camera angle for you guys. And we should have just a little bit of give all the way through so it gets stuck on one. So we can go ahead and move this to the side right now. Because right now we're going to be working on the hilt, or the part that you use to hold the actual lightsaber. So we're going to grab a cylinder from our workplace. So this is the first cylinder we're working with. And we're going to go ahead and change the sides here. So let's change the sides to, let's go to about 19 and 19. And then we're going to change the height over here. I want you guys to change it to, let's try 50 here. So it'll be 10 millimeters taller than our base. And then we're going to go ahead and duplicate that, or copy, so we can have 2. And this one is going to be our hole. So the hole, we want it to be a little bit smaller, so we're going to change it to 17 by 17. So it's a little bit smaller, but still large enough that if we wanted to put in the purple lightsaber piece, it can fit inside. And I'm going to show you guys that right now. So we're going to go ahead and align them perfectly in the middle. And oh no, we almost made a mistake, but good thing we caught it. So we're going to go ahead and press undo right over here. And if I made that mistake right there, I would have a hole going the whole all the way through. So we're going to actually want to change our height over here to the exact same height as our lightsaber piece, so about 40. So we're going to change it to 40 here. And then we are going to align it again in the middle. And then once at the top, because that is where, so these 3 boxes, or these 3 circles should be laid out. And then we can group them together. And then we can see there is a base, and we want that base because eventually, you guys don't have to do this part. So just watch as I center these pieces and put it to the top. And so when it's on here, it fits perfectly inside. And then we're actually going to be making a cap for it. So that is our next part right here. So we have our hilt, and we have this guy, which is our lightsaber. And so we're going to make it a cap so the lightsaber doesn't fall out. So to make the cap, we're going to grab one more cylinder. We're going to change the height to 2. And then we're going to change the sides to 19. So it's going to be matching the same size of the hilt that we made. So it's 19, 19 by 19 with a height of 2. And then we're going to grab another cylinder, and this one is going to be our hole. So we don't have to worry about the height for this one because it's going to go through. And we're going to change that one to 15.5 by 15.5. And we're going to go ahead and align these two down the middle on both sides, making sure that it is going through all the way. If you are unsure, you can go ahead and click on the hole, even drag it below because we do want it to go all the way through. And we will group them. And now we have our cap. So our cap we're going to use, it's going to stay on the floor on the work plane right here because it's going to print out separately. But eventually, when it's all printed out, we're going to glue it on the top of our hilt once our lightsaber, telescoping lightsaber is inside, and that way it can get stuck in there. So at this point, we're pretty much done with our design, but let's have some fun with it. Let's try to add some cool features or designs to our hilts, right? So it looks a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, let's see, I'm going to grab this ring over here. And you guys don't have to do this. Maybe you guys want to add some adornments on the outside of your hilt. I'm going to add some carvings into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these dimensions to, let's say, 20.5, 20.5. I'm going to make it into a hole. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to align it with my hilt. And take a look what's going to happen. I'm going to raise this up almost to the top. I like that. There's enough space right there. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. And I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. It's more just of an eye thing. I don't have any exact measurements for you guys. You'll see right now. I just kind of want to add a little something so it's not so plain. And when I think I'm ready, I'm going to go ahead and just group these together. Or you can see I added some engravings right there. Again, you can do what you want at this point. If you wanted to maybe add like a star, a heart, put your name on the handle somewhere, you can go ahead and do that. Just have some fun with it. Be creative. Try to make sure that you're not changing the integrity or the structure of it, because if it makes it too thin, then it's not going to be able to print all the way through. But have some fun with it. If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comments. And I hope you guys have a lot of fun making this. Bye.